Hi, I'm Stephen Garvey with National Citizens Alliance for Canada. We're a grassroots, non-establishment registered federal party. And today we're going to be looking at 5G and millimeter waves. We have some incredible information to share that will bring you up to speed on what's here and what's coming. And by the end of the presentation, you should have a really good understanding the impact of 5G and millimeter wave and what you can do about it. We're going to be looking through this report here, which has a lot of nuggets of information. I have Adrian, he's in the Maritimes, and I have Maria, she's from the West Coast. They're going to chime in at the end of the report to share their feedback and questions, comments, and we look forward to your comments as well. Before I get into this report, and this report, it solely looks at profit, and it's from the standpoint of the telecommunication industry, and we would extend further. It's an extension of the establishment, political operatives and media operatives in this country, and also in obviously in other Western countries, Australia or Asia. But I'm going to show you some scientific evidence on the millimeter wave. And there's been a lot of scientific evidence that's been around, but Health Canada and these other, the WHO and etc., they're pretending that there's no health risk with this. They're tricking people. It's all about profit and pushing the Great Reset through this technology. So I'm just going to switch to another report here. Just give me a second. So here's this report here. So this is on our blog at nationalcitizensalliance.com, .ca, nationalcitizensalliance.ca. In 1977, the Russian government released a scientific study on the impact of millimeter wave, which is obviously part of 5G. And the millimeter waves there, it's just a smaller frequency wave due to the higher frequencies of 5G. So we're going from microwaves to millimeter waves. And there were some really interesting findings from the scientific report. Basically, it revealed that millimeter waves causes changes in the body manifested in structural alterations in the skin and internal organs, qualitative and quantitative changes of the blood and bone marrow composition, changes of the condition reflex activity, tissue respiration, activity of enzymes participating in the process of tissue respiration, nucleic metabolism, and the degree of unfavorable effect of millimeter waves depended on the duration of the radiation, so the cumulative effect, in individual characteristics of the organism. And then it went down here. The millimeter waves cause changes to the process of oxidative phosphorylation in the liver, kidneys, heart, brain of animals. Irradiation inhibited the oxygen consumption rate by the mitochondria of these organs in the liver, the kidneys, the irradiated animals. The intensity of the phosphorylation decreased by 64%. There was changes were less expressed in the heart and brain. And then it talked about the issues with processes of tissue respiration. And then it went further. Millimeter waves state of the nuclear changes showed that in the liver, spleen, kidneys, lungs, heart, there were a reduction of the content of nucleic acids and suppression of the rate of these things in the RNA. And then there was a reduction of the general energy level occurring in the organism under the influence of the millimeter radio waves had an effect on the formation of microergs and caused suppression of all functions of organisms, including suppression of synthetic processes, especially the nuclear protein metabolism, which is very energy consuming. And then there was impact on the immunobiological reactivity and of the blood system were established. So these are pretty serious impacts on the organs, on the respiration. This is very serious from the millimeter waves, and that was in 1977. I'm going to switch to one more report. So this is something we documented on our blog too, but this came out of the telecommunication industry. They were emitting to severe oxidative stress from the millimeter wave at 60 gigahertz. And you can see the graph right here. They actually emitted the 60 gigahertz have been used for many years by the intelligence community for high security communications and by the military for satellite to satellite communications. And they said that at the frequency of 60, for example, it's like a piece of food in the microwave oven. That's what's happening. The stress on the person. They said the oxygen molecules absorb electromagnetic energy at 60 gigahertz like a piece in a microwave oven. That's very disturbing. And then if we look below here, and that was from the telecommunication on this admitting to it. Health Canada says nothing about this. And interesting here, this is FCC, the Federal Communication. This is their allocation right here. But if we go down here, we see the range of the 5G, and it's a lot more than what people realize. With 60 gigahertz, you're looking at a range of 2.5 kilometers from source, with a beam around 25 meters. So that's that's pretty far out. And but then if we look at 2.4 to 24 gigahertz, at 24 gigahertz, which is still high frequency 5G millimeter, you're looking at 13.5 kilometers. And at 2.4 gigahertz, which is what we have now, the frequency can travel up to 64 kilometers. And 24 to 2.4, you're looking at a 32 kilometer span on that. But you see the range is still high in the millimeter range here, so keep that in mind at 60 gigahertz. And I'm gonna go into the report now, but just remember these findings as we go through the report. I'm going to switch to the report now, but this is going to be really interesting information. We're getting an issue here with this. We'll just have to wait a second. My screen froze. I don't think it's me, but the screen's frozen. Yeah, should I restart the computer or my browser's frozen? You see what I'm saying? Well, it says Chrome. Do you want to close it? Yeah, but then I would have to restart everything. Yeah, yeah, it's frozen. Sorry about that, everyone. We had to restart this, so we're going to continue. We're going to go into this report now. So we're going to go into the report. Sorry about that. There was a connection issue, but let's go into this report. It's really interesting. I'm just going to deal with that. We're going to get this report up right now. So here's the report here. This is on the economics of millimeter wave 5G. And it's by GSMA, and they represent the interests of mobile operators worldwide. More than 750 operators and nearly 400 telecommunication companies. So overall, this report, it's obviously pro 5G, pro 5 millimeter wave, pro telecommunication, and it's representative of the establishment in Canada and other Western countries and other parts of the world, how they're pushing this 5G and millimeter wave. So so bas- so basically, what this report's showing is that they're arguing basic on economies of scale that we need more 5G deployment, more millimeter deployment in order for them to make more profit. That's an obvious economic argument. But there's some really intricacies of this report, and we're going to get right into them. So they're saying now 5G is now a commercial reality. And despite the COVID-19 pandemic, the adoption of 5G will reach 200 million connections by the end of 2020. There's a forecast of 1 billion connections by 2023, 2 billion by 2025, and they're claiming how much faster it is than 4G. What's interesting here, they're talking about the different frequency levels. And this is the basic argument here. This is 3.5 gigahertz. This is the low band of 5G, and they're going to be doing bidding on it in June in Canada. But in Greater China, they're arguing this is the net present value, total cost of ownership. And they're saying 5% connected users, 10%, 25%. And they're saying the greater connection, the lower the cost of ownership. So again, this is just economies of scale. Same thing here. Data consumption growth. Again, more there, they got urban China, suburban Europe, rural US. Cost cost per square meter in indoor office space scenario. And they're saying with 3.5 gigahertz plus millimeter wave, the cost is lower. Again, this is economies of scale. And they're claiming 5G services are now a reality. Quarter 2020, 107 operators in 47 markets launched commercial 5G services. And this is quarter 20, looking at the different spectrums. On spectrum auctions, trials, commercial launches, adoption. And this is really interesting here. We're talking about the low, mid, high band spectrums. So 3.5 gigahertz is the low spectrum, the low band spectrum that they're using. And then they have right here. So this is just the entry level. It's a microwave. It's 3.3 to 3.8 gigahertz range. The other mid band spectrums that may be assigned or reframed operators for include 1800 megahertz, 21 megahertz, and this is already, we see this right there, but that's in the 4G realm. And then they can offer 24 gigahertz and above, and they claim will be crucial to meet the high traffic demands. Currently 26, 28, 40 gigahertz have the most international support and momentum. And they're looking at identified and totally globally reach of 5G in 26 gigahertz, 40 gigahertz, 50 gigahertz, 66 gigahertz ranges. And then they talk about, can it be cost? It's all about profit with the telecommunication industry. And they're arguing based on economies of scale. And this shows the 5G spectrum assignment pipeline frequency range greater than 6 gigahertz. These are the countries. 1 to 6 gigahertz. Below 1 gigahertz. "26 countries have already assigned 3.4 3.5 gigahertz bands. Meanwhile, a more limited number of markets have released millimeter wave spectrum for 5G as October 220. The US, Finland, Hong Kong, Italy, Japan, South Korea, Taiwan, Singapore, Russia, Thailand. There's the report there. Sorry about that. And these are the bandwidths right there. US leading the development of a millimeter wave ecosystem. And it shows there's no difference between the Trump administration and the Biden administration. These were the millimeter spectrum assignments, and in the US, 28 gigahertz, amount 500 megahertz. In March of 2020, they had 47 gigahertz spectrum assignments. China is gearing up for the millimeter wave for the 2022 Winter Olympics. They're exploring a millimeter wave for 5G in 26 gigahertz band. And they're conducting trials of pilot cases on 26 gigahertz in preparation for large-scale demonstration of millimeter wave 5G at the Beijing Olympics. And it talks about Europe, how they're moving in that direction. Amount of spectrum assigned to millimeter bands. And these are the bandwidth right here. And there's the frequency band. And the biggest allocation is in Korea, Hong Kong, Taiwan, Thailand. US has the biggest right there, 3,400 megahertz. Singapore, Finland, that's where Nokia's from. They're claiming rapid technical progress with 5G millimeter wave. And this is, we're talking about beam, and they're talking about beam management. So these are beams of EMF radiation that can go up to 2.4 kilometers with a 250 meter width. So these are the main millimeter wave equipment categories. They have high capacity macro site active antenna units. These active antenna units can provide enough capacity in a densely populated area. A large number of subscribers are focused on spectrum between 24.25 gigahertz to 29.5 gigahertz. They have micro sites, lamp sites, and pole sites. Most of these serve 26 gigahertz, 28 gigahertz spectrum. These compact, energy efficient cell sites help provide coverage in indoor hotspots. Indoor 5G small cell solutions. Vendors started to release indoor 5G small cell using millimeter wave to make sure operators can provide continuous 5G millimeter wave coverage. And they're talking about economies of scale and production here again. So they're pushing for greater deployment of this so they can make more profit. So they're looking at different scenarios. They have a dense urban scenario, and they're arguing again economy scales here. The greater deployment, greater users, the lower the cost. And this is in the dense urban scenario in Greater China. The greater their market share, the greater connected users, the lower the cost. And this is looking at fixed wireless access scenarios. The same argument. It's all about profit. Same thing. You can see it there. They're looking at rural US. Again, they're arguing the greater market share, the greater talking about the busy hour percentage, the more usage, the cost savings. Same argument through this whole report. So the indoor scenario, same argument. Current use of laptops, communication equipment, the higher use, the higher the cost savings. So they're pushing the telecommunication industry is pushing for governments and regulators to facilitate the timely availability of millimeter spectrum in the right conditions. That's what they're pushing for. They're saying it'll add 600 billion annually to the global economy. So they're basically pushing for the deployment of this. I'm going to go back up here. What was interesting about this, it did talk about the limitation of the millimeter wave. It can't go through, it has difficulty going through solid objects. And it talks about the 5G opportunity for enterprise digital transformation is massive, including industrial application, automotive, robotics, healthcare, to cite a few examples. Right here, this is what I wanted to show you here. Despite its potential, the utilization of millimeter wave in mobile has had to overcome major technical challenges. Millimeter wave signals travel relatively short distances compared to the signals or lower frequency bands, as I showed, and can be susceptible to attenuation from trees, other obstacles, and have difficulties in penetrating concrete buildings, often necessary to reach indoors. However, the continued growth of mobile data traffic plays to the strength of the millimeter wave bands, as millimeter waves can accommodate more capacity bandwidth than any other. So that was the report there. It was pretty interesting. It's all about the profit, and there's nothing in there on the potential health issues, privacy issues. And I'm talking about the EMF radiation. I did go through a couple scientific reports on it. So you can see where this is coming from. It's all profit driven, and they're going to be pushing it, massive deployment, indoor, outdoor, rural, urban, you name it. I'm going to bring Maria in here. Maria, can you unmute yourself? Hey, Maria. Adrian?
Hi, I'm here.
Yeah, do you have any comments on what I shared?
Oh, yeah. Well, I have lots of comments. Yeah, it's very interesting. Uh, Maria is having a problem in chatting in the chat box. Um, oh, I guess she could hear now. She can hear you. For a while, she had no. She could not hear you at all. Um, she just said that she's on her line. Bring her in again.
Well, you might as well add your comments and then we'll bring her in.
Sure. Okay. I As some of you might know out there, that I and a few others have been doing a lot of reports on cell towers, cell units, smart meters, all kinds of the Wi-Fi devices, doing the videos and things like that. And today I kind of came across something interesting. I work. I should mention I do roadside traffic control here in New Brunswick, and often I go out with NB Power, the primary energy source for New Brunswick. Um, excuse me, and often I go out with them. And the other day we were at a site, and I was talking. He was talking project, uh, which they've started here in New Brunswick. Uh, there's one that's in just about 20 kilometers. I'm sorry, just about 20-minute drive northeast of Dieppe, Moncton area where I live. Excuse me, where I live. And this is smart energy project grid is they just within the limits of the town of Shediac, they have a solar farm. Okay, a where they have a bunch of solar panels to put electricity, and which is all fine and dandy. I'm all for renewable energy, such as solar energy and other renewable energy sources. And however, these solar panels are going to be providing energy to anywhere from 100 to 500 selected homes within the Shediac area. What is a little bit disturbing to me is that these homes are going to be equipped with they're going to be equipped with smart appliances and smart devices in the home. And the idea behind this is that uh, NB Power will be able to monitor even remotely, because I'm sure these homes are going to have the smart meters as well. NB Power is going to be able to the power usage of the people living in those homes, and they're going to be able to cut, or turn down the electrical supply to these homes accordingly. This technician that I was talking to, he said that there's certain certain times of the month or whatever, if there's a spike of power being used, they're going to be able to go in and simply turn off those devices. So, like for instance, they might, the people in these homes may not be able to do, they might not be able to use their microwave or their washing machine, at a certain time of day. Uh, to me, that seems a little bit extreme. And Stephen, I did send you a couple pictures
Okay.
to your email your email address, stephen.garvey at nationalcitizensalliance.ca. I did send you a couple this morning when me and another gentleman, Matthew, we went looking for this solar farm that's within the Shediac area. We could not find it. It's there somewhere, but we could not find it. But we did find a couple town of Shediac buildings. One is the Shediac Pension Center building, and the other one is the Shediac Multipurpose Center. These are two buildings that have been designated, beside these 100 to 500 residential homes, as being connected to this smart energy grid. Okay, this I'll send you a picture. Maybe if while maybe you can find those pictures in your email address, in the email message that I sent you. You might be able to bring them. One is a picture of the Shediac multi-purpose center building, and you can see it's got the solar panels on top of the roof. And the other picture is of a kind of a nasty looking, what I would suspect is a cell tower on the Hotel Shediac. We were taking EMF readings, and with the tri-field TF2 EMF meter, and we were measuring in volts per meter, upwards of about probably 25 volts per meter.
Wow.
This cell unit, yeah, fairly high. Not quite as
Mm.
high as some that you have gotten, but certainly well above the zero point 0.5, right? Which according to the bioinitiative report, 0.5 should be the maximum to treat any adverse health effects, like you had mentioned earlier. Health effects such as blood disorders, breathing problems, headaches, dizzy spells, a host. Uh, it's like a single cell unit. It's a tubular shaped object, probably, I don't know, maybe three, three, 3 feet in diameter, maybe 10, 12 feet high. Um, a cylinder shape, and we were about probably 500 meters away from that, and we were getting some pretty high readings, up around 25 volts per meter.
Yeah.
Um,
So, no,
yeah.
excellent point. I'm just going to chime in here.
Okay.
So, what Adrian shared was an actual real life on the ground example of this implementation within. This is indoor activation through what's called the so-called smart home. Adrian. Um,
Yes.
yeah, and it's this is happening. And this is the bigger picture. Let's connect it into there. This is the Great Reset. It's all technologically driven through the 5G, 6G, 7G, and it's going to bring the AI machines, robots, drones, etc. So this is the reality that's going on. And I'm looking at TS here in the comments. He talks about, this millimeter wave was a targeting weapon, a beam of energy, and now they're going to be using it in the public domain. As it said in that telecommunication report, it has difficulty going through solid objects. And I remember reading early on in Sheffield, England, they were cutting down all these trees to make room for these millimeter waves because they had trouble going through it. So this is another thing that's going to be coming. And they're going to have these small cell sites. They talk about the lampposts indoor, all the smart devices, the cell towers. They didn't talk about the satellites, but they're going to be part of this grid. But there's going to be beams of this very high EMF radiation coming at you. And how are humans going to respond to that from a health standpoint?
What,
Related to privacy too, Adrian. We're talking social credit system, facial recognition. There's going to be automation everywhere, right? We already have a political credit system in the West. It's one step away from a social credit system. But the Great Reset, they're just unrolling this. So this is all part of
yes, you can.
globalism. Yeah, no, I just want to tie it further or connect the dots. This is globalism NWO, open borders. You see Biden, right? He's opening the borders, right? In the US now. So there's just going to be a globalized world. And it's erosion of the nation state. But this is all part of the Great Reset. Canada is very far along this agenda. Um, remember that we adopted UN Agenda 21 in 92 under the so-called conservatives. And then in 2015, under the the Harper regime, so-called conservative, they adopted UN Agenda 2030. And this is basically the blueprint for what they're doing. Our issue at NCA, we're not against technology. We don't think the 5G, we take a reverse position of the establishment cabal in Ottawa and the telecommunication industry. We believe health and privacy, public health and privacy should come before special interest profit, right? We believe that this 5G should be done outside of the public domain until we can assure unequivocally that it's safe for the public in terms of their health and well-being. So we take an opposite approach. We're not convinced by their report. But remember, this is establishment, multi-control parties are completely in bed with the telecommunication industry, 100%. They, the Harper regime even admitted that they were working in full collaboration on 5G deployment, full collaboration on the deployment, the implementation of the Great Reset, Adrian.
Exactly. Yeah.
No, but you can see what's going to happen. They're going to start deploying it indoors, outdoors, rural areas. You're not safe anywhere. And what the telecommunication in that report showed is that they're pushing for the greatest possible deployment to make the most profit, to decrease their costs and make more profit. Obviously, the government, the establishment, they want full deployment to implement their social engineering, their social control, etc. Adrian.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Yeah.
So we're heading into really interesting times. Unfortunately, there's a lot of people who are misinformed, and that's why I talked about some of the science at the beginning, on the millimeter wave. And there was that report in 1977. Uh, that was during the Soviet Union at the time. And then I talked about 60 gigahertz millimeter wave oxidative stress. But what's going to happen at these higher frequencies, these beams of energy? Imagine them hitting you,
Mm-hmm.
Adrian.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Stephen, I wanted to mention that another little kind of project that I'm working on is I have a professional grade microscope, and what I'm doing is I'm taking a blood draw from my finger. Being diabetic, I have to do that on a daily basis anyway to measure my blood glucose level. I take a live blood draw, a little blood drop, and I put it on a slide, put it under the microscope, and observing my blood cells, the red blood cells, the millions of them within on the slide. Uh, under I turn off all the Wi-Fi in the in the apartment. With there's virtually hardly anything. My blood cells are nice. The way that the blood cells are separate from each other, and you turn on the Wi-Fi. I turn on the Wi-Fi full blast. Everything that I can, and what happens is the blood cells start clumping together. To me,
Wow.
that is a sign of something wrong is going on, in our blood, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
yeah, so that's something else I'm gonna try and do is I want to see if I can find a way to do a video of a blood draw. One without the Wi-Fi, one with the Wi-Fi, to compare them. And I did want to mention also too when I was earlier today when I was at this location in Shediac, I did take some video. I will be uploading them to our Facebook page later today. So
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. So this is really concerning. That's a really good example, and we're looking forward to that video, Adrian, because that's exactly what they're saying in the report. That's an indoor example of the implementation of this. And I'm looking at the comment here in the stream. TS says new thermostats must now be internet connected to use your furnace. That's another form of control. It's invasion of your privacy. Maria had a comment here about the blood work. Lena Lena Pugh did the same experiment. I can send you a video, and I've seen that experiment, Adrian, where the blood clots together under the EMF radiation. But there's over 10,000 RF reports on warning about the harm from EMF radiation. So our concern at NCA, we've already documented the harm at 4G. What's going to happen at these higher frequencies of 5G, which are, double, triple, quadruple the frequency of what we've seen at 4G, Adrian? What's going to happen? Maria says she has a smart BC hydro meter in her apartment now, and it is new building built in 2019. So this is about profit again of these companies. But then the government comes in, it's invasion of privacy, it's social engineering and social control, the AI technocracy. Our issue at NCA, let's have a national dialogue on this. This is all top down, and they're pushing it on everyone worldwide. So we're basically living in a global tyranny right now. There is no democracy.
And Stephen,
Adrian? Yeah,
yes, and to me, they're making it look like we need this. We need all of this.
yeah,
We need
yeah,
5G. We need it. Oh, you're going to, we need to be able to download a movie in 1 to 2 seconds, a full a full length feature film, in a couple seconds. What is the point? I don't understand that. Um, you know, and they're making it sound like it's going to make our lives so much better, so much better.
yeah, yeah,
Well, I'm
yeah,
sorry, my life, I'm fine as it is. I would be happy with 2G, to be
yeah.
honest.
So
You
this
know,
agenda, yeah, well, this agenda started after World War II.
Mm,
There was a push by the globalists. They don't want any more world wars, and they're just going to create a completely globalized,
mm,
basically one world government world,
mhm,
NWO, right? So
mhm,
um, has nothing to do with democracy. This is these people pushing it on humanity.
mhm,
So this is right out of Orwell, right?
mhm.
Also, Duxley, Aldous Duxley, A Brave New World, and
Mm.
beyond that. And I'm looking at TS. He made a good comment here. He said iron oxidizes when subjected to microwave energy, triggers white blood cell clotting, like you saw, Adrian.
Yes, that's exactly
That's
what was happening. Exactly.
yeah,
To see it, uh, live. You can probably do it. You don't have to have a professional grade microscope. You can probably do it with a basic elementary school microscope. You could probably do the same thing, the same experiment. It's because it's definitive, hands-on proof
yeah,
of what
yeah,
happens, what
yeah.
happens to inside you, what's really going on when we're subjecting ourselves to these microwave radiations.
But if we can just imagine what's going to come in this AI technocracy, it's going to be a mass surveillance grid,
Hmm.
like
Yeah.
in China, like we already see in China. And TS makes a good point here: dependency. You're going to become dependent on the system because it's going to be the infrastructure all around you and social control. And then he asks, who watches the watcher? Well, no one's watching them. TS, as you know, they are dictating what's going on. And Maria says we are all in the
Yeah.
dark. Um, we have to spread this knowledge to people in our community. This is tied to the vaccines. Yeah, it could be tied to the
Mhm.
vaccines. Yeah, vaccines, depending what's in them. Maria, I've seen recent videos on nanoparticles in the vaccines and the health implications of them. Is there a depopulation agenda? That's a whole nother issue. You could argue with the EMF radiation. The health isn't going to improve with the millimeter wave. Imagine the impact on the environment: insects, bees, trees, too. The whole gamut. But if you look at the telecommunication industry, you saw we've already done 2 reports on them. It's all about profit.
Yep.
Then you bring the government in, it's about profit and control,
Yep.
right? So
Yep.
this is the beginnings of this tyranny, I would argue.
Yep. Yep. Under the guise of this is all going to make our lives so much better, and they want to make people, they want to make all of us reliant on this technology. It's like you said, Stephen, technological advances can be good, can be helpful, but it can be so damaging. We have to have dialogue and discuss it. Um,
Yeah, exactly.
to
Especially a technocracy, right? This is about technocrats, uh, profit-driven control.
Yep,
Has
yep,
nothing to do with the well-being of humanity,
right. I
right?
don't, yeah, I don't want to have somebody being able to remotely uh, uh, tell me when I can or cannot watch TV or do a wash in the wash machine. And this is what they
They're
want to. Mhm.
they're already doing that. There's some places where you pay more,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Depending
yeah,
when.
exactly.
Yeah. But it's also about invasion of your privacy.
Hmm.
They know exactly what you're doing, what you're consuming, and then we add in the health impact of the EMF radiation.
Hmm.
Because imagine all these Wi-Fi signals in your home through the smart devices.
Yep, yep.
Then you go outdoors; they're on the lampposts. You got the cell towers, the satellites. It's everywhere.
They're going to know when you're sleeping, when you're not sleeping, when your lights are on or off.
You're you're not going to be able to get away from the EMF radiation.
Hmm. Hmm.
And you can go to the rural area, but they're setting it up there.
Yeah,
So this is very disturbing.
it is. It is. And what really bothers me is now they're bringing, like the renewable energy, they're connecting it to this smart grid system. So it's now not just a smart grid, it's now also a smart energy grid connected to the smart grid.
Yeah. So eventually, with they're pushing the electric car, which is fine. Give people a choice, but they're also what's coming next is the self-driving cars,
Hmm. Yeah.
and
Yeah.
eventually you won't have a choice.
Yeah. And a big question regarding like electrical vehicles, yeah, they're great. They're. I suspect that. Yeah, I know that they're quite pricey. A lot of people probably cannot afford to buy them until the prices come down. I'm sure they're great. They're a great idea for urban centers. Densely populated urban areas and cities. Um, but realistically, I mean, in the larger scheme, like in the uh, not just suburb, but let's say rural, the rural areas. You know, an electric vehicle. How far is it gonna take you? And what about our um, our transport trucks, the big rigs and boats and ships and planes. Are they going to be on rechargeable energy sources?
Yeah, but
You
Adrian,
know,
keep in
yeah,
mind that no, but there's advanced improvement in the power output of batteries. So
yeah,
so keep that in mind. But the issue is self-driving,
yeah,
um, the AI technocracy when we get in there, right?
mhm, yeah.
So you're not even going to have the option to be able to drive,
Hmm.
right?
But people have to ask, for a charging station, electric vehicle charging station, where does the energy come from for that charging station?
Yeah, yeah,
Where does it come from? It's only going to come from either a hydro dam power source,
yep.
or maybe your local coal plant, or maybe if you have a nuclear power plant.
But those
You
sites are
know,
already being set up, Adrian.
yes, I know, I know.
I put up photos of one that was just set up.
Yes, I know. And actually, I did today too.
Yeah,
They have them here in Moncton. They had them in Shediac. They're everywhere now. But no,
yeah,
my point is that we, I don't foresee I don't see in the foreseeable future us ever getting rid of fossil fuel energy. Uh, I mean, how else, like not just fossil fuel, but nuclear energy. How else are we going to power these charging stations? I just I don't see how.
And look here, Adrian, you see the
Hmm.
comment? He's
From
talking
T.
about, yeah, he's talking about Bluetooth detects proximity of biological, non-biological near field objects. Cannot
Wow.
turn off. Only a soft switch. So they're already
Near
taking
field object.
control. They're already
Yes,
taking
yes.
taking control over your device.
That's a good point, TS. Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, you see that, eh?
It's very, very worrisome. I'm sorry, call me old school, but I'm just, like, I think they're making our lives too easy. Um, I don't want any part of it. I mean, again, a little bit of technology is fine, but easy. They're dumbing people down with all of these smart devices, in my mind.
Yeah, no, that's a good point, Adrian. And then we got to always remember the health impact
Saber, yeah,
of
go ahead.
the EMF radiation, especially the millimeter wave.
Hmm. Hmm.
I did put up that report. That's only one of many, many reports
Hmm.
warning of the
Yes,
dangers,
yes, yeah,
right?
yep,
So,
yep.
but this just showed the implementation of the millimeter wave. They're going to be pushing it, and they said by 2025 they're forecasting 2 billion connections
Yep,
worldwide.
yep, yeah. So it's going to draw the line somewhere.
So, and right now there's no, it's just full scale deployment. It's almost a race between these countries to deploy it.
Hmm. Hmm.
Health is completely discarded. Privacy discarded.
Yep,
It's like a perfect storm. You got the profit driven of the telecommunication,
yep.
and then you have these establishment entities wanting the social engineering, the Great Reset,
Hmm. Yeah.
right?
You talk about privacy. I mean, how often have I can't count the number of times that it's been numerous times that I have been somewhere. My phone, with my cell phone, I always have my cell phone with me. I have been somewhere, whether I'm doing shopping, errands, or whatever, and I then, lo and behold, within the next day or two, I get a message on my phone. How did you like shopping at this place? Or so that I mean, they're tracking us, right?
Yeah. So this here, let's not get into it. We don't want to
Yeah,
get censored.
yeah.
We've been under shadow ban for a long time, but TS says soon will we not cannot leave home without a COVID pass, right? So that's another form of social control.
Yeah.
So that's what's coming too. That's part of
Mhm.
this great reset, right? And that's once they get the smart grid surveillance grid
Mhm.
up, then they can put these restrictions on people, right? The social credit system in China,
Mhm.
it's affecting people's
Yep.
freedom. If you're critical of the government,
Mhm.
you're going
Mhm.
to have restrictions on your travel within the country, and you may not be able to travel outside of the country, right? But
Mhm.
we have to emphasize this is a targeting weapon system, the beam, and they're going to be using that in the public domain,
Mhm.
and that's very
Yep.
concerning. Uh,
Yeah, and Mhm.
and none of us have really experienced it yet, but I've experienced through the Wi-Fi when I first got this one. I was up close, and I felt like a beam on me, and it wasn't even the millimeter wave yet. So what's going to happen,
Mhm. Mhm.
right? We all got to be
Yep.
concerned, um, and so we see what's happening, like in the political censorship of us. Anyone who's in opposition to this agenda, they're being censored or vilified. Adrian, And that's the reality of it. I'm just going to check on Maria here. She says energy consumption and water meters will be closely monitored. Adrian?
For a second, Stephen.
Yeah. They're going to be monitoring energy, water consumption big time. It's a more form
Yep.
of controlling people, telling them
Yep.
what to do.
You were talking, you're talking about a social credit system. Well, one could argue that what's going on with this energy, smart energy project grid, it's an energy credit system. They're going, use too much energy. They're going to turn your power. They're going to start turning some of your devices off.
Yeah, they're also going to know what you're doing, what your habits are.
Mm.
There are
Yep.
already surveillance on the internet, right. There's
Yep.
already doing
Yep.
censorship there. And the Harper regime spent $1 billion on mass surveillance in Canada.
Mm-hmm.
Dragnet surveillance that just continued under the next regime, right?
Yes.
So,
Yes.
but this is everything we've been warning people about. This is an attack on the nation state, attack on sovereignty, attack on the family unit,
Yep.
right?
Attack on
So
privacy. And
you could argue it's an attack on humanity,
yep, it is.
right? And it's
It
all
is.
through the double speak, Orwellian double speak of this language. Oh, this is good for you, right? Sustainable,
Yeah.
right? Um,
It's like good old Klaus there. What you will own nothing and you will be happy. You know, this is what they wanted to lead to, right? They,
yeah, he wrote this here.
yeah. No.
See that?
Okay. A
Yeah,
bit of
he's
a shame.
right. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay. For some reason, I didn't see that come up on the chat bar, but
Yeah, that
yeah.
came up. That was later
Okay.
on, but he's right about that. That so many people are ignorant.
Mm-hmm.
They feel disempowered
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
because the whole system is disempowered.
Yeah.
Disempowerment. It's all top down. Um, you know,
Yep.
basically shut up and
Yep.
just toe the line.
Exactly. Yep. Yep. They want they more and more they want people to accept the handouts. Um, they want so many people to income that they're talking about. Work anymore. You can stay at home and essentially just kind of. I see TS. He's got his
Yeah.
second cup of coffee. Thank you. Yes, great, TS. Yes, I will take a cup too, please. But yes, yeah, no, it's they want us to rely on all of this technology, and it's just not good.
Yeah, and Maria says here, but as consumers, we can question our cell phone providers. Consumers have the power to address health concerns. Your thoughts? Yes, Adrian, I'll just respond first. Once this 5G surveillance grid, this infrastructure is deployed, you're going to lose your choice, Maria, because it's going to be part of the infrastructure. Eventually, you're only going to be able to buy smart appliances. And you can't control the lampposts outside your house, the cell towers, the satellite, right? The smart meters. You can go to the rural area, but they're implementing it there, as that report showed.
Yeah.
There's no hiding out. There's no way to opt out. Cell phones themselves will become redundant. You won't need them because the infrastructure will be all around you. All you have to do is talk, and you go to the restaurant, you just talk, right, and it picks up what you want. you want a cab outside your home, you just it goes into the system, right?
Yep. Just speak, and a wireless speaker device will hear your voice and transmit your wish to the local taxi company,
So basically, everyone's going to be
driverless
yeah.
taxi company.
Basically, everyone's going to be in a prison, basically, right? And they're going to be monitored, right?
Yeah. No, she's got a good point, though. She does make a good point in that we are
Yeah,
still we are the consumers.
yeah,
We do have the right to ask, to question, especially
yeah.
when it comes to our health. Yeah.
Yes, no, she's right about that. But there's so much concentration of power. It's top down.
Hmm.
Maria asks, "Are there any solutions? Is it doomsday?" Uh, well, unfortunately, Maria, this has been in the work for decades. At NCA, we are trying to fight it, but we're facing huge obstacles. We're being censored by the federal government, uh, by some of the social media giants. Um, when it comes to elections, we're at a severe disadvantage because most people don't know about us, and that's all by plan. Um, but the root solution is political, Maria. That's why we formed NCA, because these decisions are all politically made, right? So it is challenging. They have plans in place that go probably 200 years, Adrian.
That's right.
They
That's
have
right.
multi-controlled parties. The media is all paid off. They have fake alternative media.
Mhm,
The courts are, all appointments,
mhm.
right? Working within the system.
All appointed. You mean the court, the court, the
The
judges?
judges, yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
they're all
They're all
appointed. None
part of the system.
none of them are elected.
Yes.
No.
So another thing too, Adrian,
Mm,
we see the division in the society. That's another way to control, right? Basic
mm,
division.
mhm,
And
mhm,
then we have fake alternative media that push that division too, which only allows more control.
mm, mhm.
So Maria, we would argue that if we want to get the root at this, we have to eliminate the division because they're afraid of unity.
Yeah, Stephen.
That's what the root. Yeah, we never play the division game.
Mm. You broke up there for a minute there for me, Steve.
Yeah, fair enough. I was
Mm.
talking about division and overcoming that. Yes, the power lies in politics, but if we educate and resist, it is worth a try. Well, we have no choice, Maria. Um, um, we're not living in this is a pseudo democracy. We're living in I call it a soft tyranny, top down, authoritarian, soft tyranny right now, and it could become a hard tyranny someday. And here's TC, the art of making you need something you do not want. There you go. That's the media right there, telling something. They tell you what they want you to know and believe, right? That's the media. And then we got here the private bar obstructing access to our public courts. Of course, a lot of people can't afford to go to court, Adrian,
Mm. That's right.
right?
That's right. Yep.
And it's a select group there.
That's right.
So
Yep.
this is what's going on. There's no real democracy in Canada. It's just a facade.
Hmm.
We have no, but these people they planned this out well. They got the
Hmm.
multi-controlled parties, the media control. They have fake grassroots alternative media too,
Hmm.
right? The courts are in their favor, right?
Right. Yep.
They're creating division, more and more division every day. Everyone is fragmented. They're opening the borders, right? Which is probably, you could argue, is creating more division, even though the issues we're talking about affect all of humanity.
Mhm.
And that's one area where they can't, that's where we have an advantage.
Mhm.
That's
Yeah.
one area we have an advantage because these issues are affecting everyone. We can unite people worldwide.
Yeah.
Maria
I'm.
Maria says we can still take class action lawsuits. We still have the Charter of Freedoms and Rights, but there's limitations, Maria. Again, it comes down to political decisions. If we look at the Comer case, the Bank of Canada, when they shifted the public lending rate, that came down to a political decision. These lawsuits against the so-called pandemic, they're not going anywhere because it's going to come down to a political decision. And if you're not happy, vote someone else in. And there's this, Adrian, do you see?
Um. You from.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh
See
yes,
from
yes,
yeah,
yeah, yeah, yeah. Exactly. We give you a viable coin. Yeah, yeah. With the money bags. Yeah,
yeah,
exactly. Yeah,
yeah.
it's a good point. Um. Oh,
No, it's a
this is
really
all
good
good
point.
stuff. It is.
Yeah, yeah. We're gonna follow up with this. We'll do another one in a week or two. But I think we covered a lot. Here's that report again. If anyone has any questions, I'll
Yeah,
I'll, I'll put it up on the screen one last time.
yeah. I don't see it on the screen. I didn't see it at the
It's
beginning
there
either.
now. It's there now. Do you see it?
Okay, I don't know for some reason I do not. All I see is my image on the main
Oh yeah,
screen.
yeah. Because I haven't switched it over. There
Okay.
it is. There it is, right there,
Oh,
Adrian.
there we go. Okay, now I
Yeah,
see it. Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
There's the report. I'll put a link up.
Okay.
But this will. I think we went through it. We showed where the telecommunication industry is coming from. There's zero talk about the health impact or privacy impact
Mm-hmm.
in this report. It's all about profit.
Mm-hmm. And Stephen, I would just like to reiterate too that probably one of the most susceptible devices that pretty much everybody has now, that everybody has with them at most, if not all the time, is a cell phone, a smartphone, especially. Um, and I think it's important to re-mention about when you were talking about ways that you can shield. To protect for privacy, is what I'm thinking.
Yes, yes.
Mainly of, when I seen that message come up one day, how did you like shopping at such a place? Or, to me, I that really bothered me. Because now, I know, they can be following you everywhere. Not that I've got anything to be ashamed of, but uh, it's important that we have at least some semblance of privacy.
Well,
I
it's
just wanted to
almost
mention,
gone,
yeah,
Adrian.
yes,
So
I
look
know,
at this comment
I
here.
know,
Look at this comment here.
yeah, yeah.
Are we not masters of servants? How did the
How did
customer become the
customer
servant?
become right?
Right.
Yeah.
So this was a gradual. I would argue that 0%. This this was over a long period of time. Gradual, implementation of legislation, international agreements, gradual erosion of the privacy, the freedoms.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And there's so many different things like the UN climate change. I would argue that was a fabricated existential threat to help push things.
Yep.
And then
Yep.
the latest fabricated existential threat, lockdown, it help dig deeper. Also, social conditioning, the mask, submitting.
They're all connected. Uh,
Yeah, they're all connected.
you know, th-
People have been
they're
asleep.
all connected. Yeah.
People have been asleep.
Yeah. Yeah. So, Stephen, uh, thank you for bringing me on to this panel discussion. It was very informative. I really enjoyed it. I hope you invite me again. I do enjoy it. It was nice once we get the bugs worked out. I'm going to have to get go do a little bit of shopping here to the convenience store for now. But thank you for inviting me.
Sure.
I'm very it's too bad we could not bring Maria in, but we can maybe work on doing a test connection soon, and so that we can bring Maria in, no problem.
Yeah. I'll follow up with her,
Okay.
but I want to thank everyone today. I think we covered everything on the big scale. It's quite disturbing. And there was a lot of interesting information. Hello there. I want to thank the comments here that we received. So, Adrian, we're going to do this in a week or two. We're going to follow up on this, and we're going to try to bring some more relevant information. But this is impacting everyone in humanity, and I think we sketched out pretty much what's going on, what's coming. I think people should be really concerned. So check us out on nationalcitizensalliance.ca. We're continually, we believe in on the ground activism and documenting what's going on. We're very, very, very concerned on this agenda that's being implemented. But remember, the people have the power, but I think bottom line, Adrian, we gotta avoid division, divide and conquer. Left,
Hmm.
right, the basic left, right narrative. We gotta
Hmm.
transcend that because
Hmm.
that's fundamental to this control.
Hmm.
And Deborah says so many people are sleeping.
Yeah.
So we're going to have to wake them up. We're going to do more broadcasts like this because this is right on target.
Hmm.
Right on target.
Uh, yeah, and Stephen, I just want to quickly mention that for anybody that is concerned about maybe a new cell phone tower or some other cell antenna or something that's nearby their home or in their neighborhood, and if they're concerned about it, if they would like like if we have an NCA person in that area, they can contact us at nationalcitizensalliance.ca. Send a message. Let anybody available in that area. We can take one of our EMF meters and go out there and meet up with you and to do measurements and document that source of radiation.
Excellent. Okay, we're going to sign off now. We look forward to the next stream. We'll probably do one in a week or two. We want to thank you for joining, and we look forward to reviewing.